Out of pocket, what I need to pay is the electrical, the plumbing, the front step, the back step, getting the skirting under the mobile home. All in, that cost me about $6,000. I had 4 to start with. I only spent 2 out of my pocket. Merry Christmas, daughter. Got the mobile home sold for her for $23,000 cash.
What's up, Forte community? This your girl G Coleman, CEO and founder of Brown Skin Girl, located in Waldorf, Maryland, and Dallas, Texas.
How do you like your grits?
Sugar. You put sugar in your grits.
You put sugar. We starting off the podcast line. That's what.
So my plaque, I got a Beyonce plaque. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we had two number ones, right? But then the other plaque I got is for Lil Nas X. So Lil Nas X. I'll show it to you.
What's up, world? This is your favorite chef. Chef X is in the build. I've worked with some of the most amazing talents in the world, from Cardi B, Offset, Negative Style, Your Money Bag, Eddie Murphy, you name it, I've done it. And I just want to say shout out to the Forte Podcast.
The types of assets that I purchase are multifamily apartment buildings, right? So I'm typically looking at buildings, complexes that are 100 units or more. The largest that I've ever been a part of is right at 300 units. Come on.
Anything you do that's worth succeeding, you always got to take a step down to go up. Mm-hmm. Even if you're going to go win the lottery, you got to take a deficit of $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, however much you spend it on a lottery. So your bank account takes a deduction before you shoot up. So before you shoot up to $20, $30 million, your bank account needs to take a deficit, whether it's gas to go to these meetup.com locations, whether it's to go put on a suit or buy a suit if you don't have a suit, to be able to be presentable in circles, right? Or to get a laptop or to get a printer. Like, it's always going to be deduction before you see a production.
I want you to know that if you have a desire to be great, yes, the greatest among you is a servant.
I'm Bo Wheeler, owner of Arthur Wheeler Experience Company, and y'all are tuned in to the Forte Podcast.
Hey, welcome to the Forte Podcast. I'm your co-host, Domenick Epps.
And I'm your co-host, Randall Monfiston.
And we are here to dive into your lane of greatness to discover what comes easy for you that may not be easy for all others.
Everyone's a genius, from the 9-to-5 employee to the Fortune 500 billionaire. We're here to highlight those attributes through interviews with what? Amazing guest.
But I got one question for you, brother.
What's that, bro?
Hey, man, tell me, what's your forte? Hey, let's go, man. Let's go. All right, so we officially got through with the intro. Amazing intro, by the way, brother. Amazing intro. Just to start it off with a blooper. Hey, man, that's how we doing it. I'm live on the set right now. I'm like actually in Little Washington.
Yeah, tell you at a renovation right now, bro?
Yeah, man, Little Washington, North Carolina, man. Listen, bro, I got a very tight schedule now. So we're going to be here all night through the morning. And then I got to get up out of here. So, but anyway, listen, I want us to get right into today's guest, man. We have a very special guest today on the show. So honored, so excited that she was able to take time out of her busy schedule to be able to join us today. So here's what I want to do, man. I want to introduce to some and present to others as I bring on the one and the only Renee Battle. Let's make some noise. What's up, Renee?
Hello. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
We are so glad to have you on the Forte Podcast. You're here.
Yes, and I'm excited.
All right, so
to be here.
Yeah. So here's what we want to do as we work these kinks out. So you are pretty much known in the 757 area, more specifically Suffolk, right? For your forte and what you do. But we want to get into your story, right? We want to get to know who you are, where you're from. How was the young Renee, right? We want to get into all that. Brandon, let's go ahead and kick off. What's the first question you got for us, sister?
So we're not going to start off and just give the audience a little hint, like what is her forte, and then bring it back. Like, where you at now? And then we like to bring it back, way back, right?
Way back. Okay.
Yeah. What's your current forte that, as Dom highlighted, is your niche that has you thriving in the 757, in particular Suffolk, right? The biggest
Correct.
land in Virginia, right?
Yes.
uh,
Yes.
so yeah, what's your forte?
I am a funeral director, also known as the Funeral Service Diva.
Okay, that's not what I was
Yes.
expecting. So
The
we
funeral
gonna dive.
diva. Now listen, she stays swagged out, brother. So she
Okay.
definitely, yeah. You gotta put some respect on her name. For those that may be new to watching this, right? And they have never seen you, never heard of you before. Okay. What's the name of your company? And tell us a little bit about
TE. The name of my company is TE Cook Overton Funeral Home. We are a female-owned and operated funeral service establishment. We specialize in funeral services as well as cremation services. It's a mother and daughter business.
Got it. I have to ask this question before we go into history, right? Back to childhood and all. Like you said, cremation, and do you do what is it? I want to say taxidermy. Don't know if that's the right term. I'm pretty sure that's the one that applies to stuffing animals. But what is it when you have to basically prepare a person that just passed away to
Embalming?
Embalming. There we go. Do you do that?
Not anymore.
Okay.
I'm now on the managerial side.
But there was a point where you did do that.
I had to do it for my internship.
Oh,
that wasn't my thing. That wasn't my thing. That wasn't my niche.
Listen. Let's get into your story because I want let me work me up to that part, right? I don't even want to jump right into that, bro. Like you want to get right into that.
No, I just had to ask that one question. That was it. It was just that one question,
okay.
But we could go. We can go back.
Renee, so tell us about your childhood. Where are you from originally, right? And tell
Queens,
us
New York. I'm originally from Queens, New York. My mother relocated to Virginia when I was about 10 years old. My dream was to become an attorney as well as a politician. I did my undergrad at George Mason University. And it was there that I found that I don't think I want to go into politics. And after undergrad, I realized I didn't want to continue with my education as far as law school. So I was able to secure a job with the United States government working on Capitol Hill. And from there, I decided that I wanted to come back home and work in the family business and help expand the business.
Gotcha. Okay. So the family business existed for how long now?
My mother started in New York in 1983. And then when we relocated to Virginia, she opened up a location in Norfolk. It didn't really do as much business. Then in 1998, she decided to purchase what is now known as T.E. Cook Overton Funeral Home. And that's where we've been ever since.
Okay.
So I like to tell people, like, I came up in the funeral industry in the 80s. So I was there when AIDS hit the scene. I was there when they had what they call crack babies being born. And so for me, I have all of that in my memory bank, and to see how things have changed and to where we are now. You get what I'm saying? So I'm part of that.
Yeah. So what are you seeing a lot of now as far as, that change, right? So you saw people that died from AIDS, you saw the crack babies and all of that, right? So what would you say that you are seeing a lot of now that's kind of like, bothersome to you?
What's surprising to me now is you have a lot of younger people that are dying from what we used to consider old people diseases or old people sickness and illness. Now you have my generation, my age group in their 40s, that are dying from things that it used to be older people used to die from. And then in the same breath, you have people living longer who are HIV positive because of the advancements in medicine. Like growing up, for me, my mom had a contract with the local hospital, Queens General Hospital in New York, and she handled the services of all of their AIDS babies because a lot of these ladies were giving birth and the babies were dying. Whereas now you have more mothers that are maybe HIV positive and their kids are still living. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, got you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's complete opposite what I thought of our generation and how the human race is progressing as far as being more health conscious. You're saying it's the direct opposite because I was under the impression that a lot of people are more health conscious now. As far as we even had a conversation on one of our past podcasts about men don't take it as serious to go get like checked up, right? So I think that is something that's changing, especially in our community, for us to be more mindful of that. But you're saying that there's still a presence, or it's increasing. It's worse than it was before, with more people experiencing elder ailments at a younger age
Mm-hmm.
than what it was back in the 70s and 80s, even with all the things that were happening back then. Yes, that's a different.
Correct.
Yeah, that's paradigm shift for me. I didn't see it like that. Okay.
We're funeralizing younger people, and younger people are like they're considered in their 60s and 50s,
Mm-hmm.
opposed to your 80s and 90-year-olds. And then you also have the factor, we also have those young people homicide, suicide, overdose. That's becoming fentanyl. Overdose is becoming a big thing now that we're seeing. But also health wise as well.
So what are the common or the top tier ailments that you're seeing that's causing this decline in life expectancy?
What I've seen is lifestyles. Lifestyles play a big role.
So is this like
Based on
Now,
taking care of yourself.
yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Like when you're saying lifestyle, like are you saying like drug usage?
That as well.
Okay,
That as
got you,
well. Mm-hmm.
got you. So let's I want to get back to Capitol Hill, and then we'll get back to what you're doing now, right? How was it on Capitol Hill? And yeah, tell us about that. How was that?
I enjoyed it. Like my first day, I was working for, at the time, I was a what was it? It was part of my internship. Let me say that. So it was a volunteer, it wasn't paid. But the Honorable Albert R. Wynn, out of Maryland, and I felt like the girl off of what's that movie? She wore the pink suit her first day, after attending law school. Oh my gosh, I cannot think of it. And y'all probably don't know because it's like a girly movie, but that was me.
Pretty
Anyways, it
Woman?
was a
Is
great
it Pretty Woman?
experience.
Is it Pretty Woman?
Legally Blonde, Legally Blonde,
No.
Legally Blonde.
Okay, I don't know.
With
But
the
go ahead.
pink suit, that was me my first day. I went up there with the pink suit. It was a great experience. I got to speak to who at the time was Senator Obama. Over the phone. I got to attend
nice?
different political events, and it was just a great experience. But it gave me a firsthand picture of politics, and I realized that I really did not have the heart for it.
Mm. So
You
now
know.
this that's kind of interesting, right? Because you're saying you didn't have the
Mm-hmm.
heart for politics, but you got the heart for funerals, right? For death.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
talk to us, because that's two extremities, right? Like that's one extreme going to another extreme, right? To some, it's like, okay, people in politics, they are very untruthful, right? So are you saying you didn't have the heart to lie? Is that what you're saying? Like, I'm trying to pull it out you.
I just didn't have the heart to compromise with my beliefs to have a certain position or title. And there are people who are okay with that, but I wasn't okay with that for me.
I got you. That makes sense.
So,
Yeah. That makes good sense.
mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So you decide to come home and be a part of the family business, right?
Correct.
And what were some of the changes that you initiated when you came on the scene? Because to be honest, because I'm from Suffolk, right? I remember the shift. It was like a shift. It's like you brought something different, right? So communicate to us, like, where was your thought process in coming, right? And when did you start to kind of shift things and say, you know what, we need to become more modern, we need to become more, socially involved, right?
Right.
And so talk to us about that process for you.
Well, the shift actually started, number one, my fashion sense. That was one of the things I think that was a shock for the people in Suffolk, because the few ladies in funeral service at the time when I first, came to Suffolk, the few women that were out in the open, they dressed like men. They wore the big suits. They didn't wear makeup, a lot of them. They were just very plain. But they were nice people, nice ladies. And for me, I realized I'm not really a suit type of girl. I'm more so of a dress. And then here we go. We have President Barack Obama becomes our president with First Lady Michelle Obama, who shows up everywhere pretty much with a dress on. And so I was like, you know what? If the First Lady of the United States can wear a dress, I can wear a dress. Like, I had people in my family, the older ladies, tell me, oh, that doesn't look professional. I like to wear like designer pantyhose with designs in them. I was talked about because of that. And I just realized that in order for me to be who I am, I had to be me. I couldn't conform to what people thought. And a lot of the people that had their thoughts and opinions, they kind of had like an old school way of thinking of how they perceive funeral service. Whereas for me, I realized that more women were entering into the profession, and I wanted to be the one who, at my location, at my establishment, brought life into funeral service. Where, like, when you used to come through our doors, it would just be so dreary and sad. It'll make people cry and somber. And I was like, no, we need bright lights. We need to change no more wallpaper. We need to paint the walls, like that's how I started, just wanting to bring life.
Renovation. Yeah, y'all went through a whole renovation. Like a big renovation, right? So that's dope. That's dope. Randall, what you got for?
So, were you always headstrong?
No, I was kind of the person that kind of went with tradition and what people expected or what I knew. I kind of went with. It wasn't until I got older, almost 30, you might as well say, before I realized I could be who I am. I don't have to be what people say I should be or dress the way people say I should dress because of what it is that I do. And once I developed that, I started just feeling that way about everything.
Got it. So once because normally when you do something that's against the grain, there's friction. How much friction? And you already shared a little tidbit about that. As far as people questioning why you doing that, what did the clientele who you were supporting at the funeral home think? And did that create any decline in revenue?
Well, the only friction or backlash I received was like from my mom, who was traditional and still is traditional, and from my aunts who worked at the office. To be honest, I actually got compliments from our clients. And it was my clients, and have been my clients, that kind of like hype me up. Like, they'll sit at their conference table with me. I have some clients and ask, well, what are you going to wear the day of their loved one's service? Because Miss Renee, we know you're going to be fly. Because when you step out, I hear stuff like that. And of course, that boosts my confidence up. And I had to realize that me being who I am, I always make sure I look good. And then I had to take it from another perspective. I'm like, but I have people that come in here and spend a lot of money. I should look good. I should dress well for their loved one's service. They feel like they're paying us a lot of money. So it's the least that I can do. You know what I mean? And then just to have families who are proud about me being who I am and owning who I am, that makes me feel good too. You know?
Yeah, I could see it. Yeah, I could definitely see that. Like when you go into, you're already going in, maybe potentially, depending on how quick of a passing it was for the loved one that you're there for, you go into a place that's kind of morbid, kind of like is further bringing you down. But if you go into a space
Right.
where, as you
Low
suggested, it's a
vibrations.
little bit more brighter, you're able to like kind of joke around with the outfit that you're going to wear, so kind of bring a smile to people's faces. So that could be uplifted in a
Right.
sense, right? So I could see
And
that.
then when
Okay.
families want me to coordinate with them, that's flattering to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so it started from there to me wanting to update our facilities, to even updating our services and adding more personalization, connecting more with the families. It isn't about just, oh, you sit down, make arrangements, we have the service, goodbye, but actually building relationships with families. That's
So your
another
approach
thing
is
that I
more
feel like,
personalized one.
yes, very personal.
Okay. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
From a monetary, like, because time is money, right? How much more
Mm-hmm.
time? Because I want people, because we have past podcast guests who share, right, that you're able to add value without it not being a significant lift and hurting your bottom line. So what I want to
Correct.
help paint the picture for the guests, I mean, for the viewers and the listeners, about what you
Mm-hmm.
did here, is that some people may say, well, she personalized it. That means that's more money that you have to spend to make this more a la carte type of situation. So can you shine light on what did you add that was that personal touch that made it more customized, and then how did that affect potential bottom line for the business?
Well, with adding customization as far as personalization, the cost is passed on to the family. They know that. But because the way we showcase, the way we present it, it's not a like, oh my gosh, oh no. It's like, oh yes, I would like that. Or, oh yes, that would be nice. And then now with the age of social media, where families have their cameras up the whole time during the service, they walk in the building, that right there, helps, don't want to say sell who we are, but showcase what we
Is that a thing?
offer.
I didn't know that
Mhm.
for people to let funerals like recording. Like, luckily, knock on wood, it's been some time since I had to have gone to a
Right,
funeral. So
right.
to think of, I couldn't even imagine that. Like we're
But see,
that
when you
far
come to our
involved.
establishment, it's like so like, oh, it's not, oh. It's like people are like, oh my gosh, I want to take a picture over here. Where did you get this from? Like it's just really
Yeah.
interesting. And it makes them feel warm. That has been the consensus. And it doesn't make them feel sad. Of course, you are sad about the loss of your loved one,
Mm-hmm.
but with our advancements and who we are, and even the staff that we handpick,
Mm-hmm.
all of that makes a difference.
Yeah.
You don't
Okay.
have, like, I remember a time like all of our staff were older gentlemen and they looked like they work at a funeral home. Now we have gentlemen my age and younger who brings the youth, and they're still professional at the same time.
Got
They
it. Got
still
it.
can
Got it.
show empathy. Like all of those things, all of that came into play when my mother allowed me to step in and have more of a say so. And since doing that, I have seen how it has helped our business. I've seen the results of how families appreciate, the change, because you get that over here, but you may not get that at that establishment over there, which sets us apart from the other funeral homes in the area because we have our own style, we have our own way. At the end of the day, it's about the family, and helping them bring comfort. But like we walk with our families during and after. It's not
Okay.
like, oh, you're gone, your loved one's buried or cremated, just call me next time. No, we don't do that. Like I stay in touch. We do aftercare. We even do things for the community to bring the community awareness, to educate and empower. Even for Obama's both of the elections, We offered rides to the polls. We work with the local political offices to, help people get out and vote. We had register to vote at our facility. Like, those are things like we're really active outside of just, funeral service, but as far as helping our community.
Got it.
So when you ask, about the cost, the real cost is the time. That's the real cost, our time. And some things you can't really charge for. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Something I want to rewind back to, you mentioned about when you took over the reins of the company, of the business. And I want you kind of share with our listeners and viewers, how did that come about? Because a lot of people think of nepotism, and they think of, well, because I am the child and my parent created this, I'm automatically entitled to that thing that was created by my parents. My question to you, right, is that, was it a nepotism thing, or you showed that you did the work to increase the value of the business, and your mother was like, okay, I see your vision now, and now I'm gonna allow you to take it over? Because sometimes the most humbling thing is that you have to step back and realize that your way of doing things is not per se the best way to do things for the benefit of the company.
Correct. Well, with my mom, I'm still proving myself. She hasn't completely turned the reins over to me. My mother is still active. She comes to the office every day. She's on almost every funeral. She stops into every arrangement conference. Even if I'm meeting with the family, she still comes in and show her face and let her presence be known. So let's just make that clear about Miss Overton. But what I have realized is she is open to my ideas. Now, one thing about my mother, she always says haste make waste. So she does not, if I come up with an idea, she doesn't automatically jump on it. She need to take it back, think about it, process it, and then she'll slowly allow me a little wiggle room to incorporate my ideas. But I always have to remind myself, at the end of the day, it's because of her that we have what we have and the business that we have. So I'm always going to bow down and respect her. I mean, I always agree with her. Sometimes we bump heads, but at the end of the day, I have to realize this was her baby. This is what she birthed. She helped grow, mature, and she's able to pass down to me as my generational wealth, which would then be passed down to my daughter. So with that, she's slowly changing, and every day she's evolving. I'll say that. But at the end of the day, she has the final say so.
Got it. This made me think of an interview that I heard from the owner or prior owner of Chick-fil-A. He was the CEO. He was the son of the founder of Chick-fil-A, and he was sharing with the audience in this interview that, when your offspring, your children are ready to take on the business by themselves, is when they're pulling you instead of you pushing them. So I think once she starts feeling like she's being pulled instead of pushed, then it's going to be game over. You're going to be in the front seat, captain of the ship, just making all decisions on your own. But yeah. So what's it like working for your mom, right? What is it like because everybody think it's great, like, oh, we can do a family business and that's great, but that's the same person you got to come home to. That's the same person you got to go do Christmas and Thanksgiving with. So what are some of the hurdles that you've experienced on creating that divided line between, all right, this is mom and then this is boss partner, right?
Right. Well, the thing is, I'm an only child, number one. Number two, my mom doesn't know how to turn it on and off. So I can call her now. In some way, somehow in a conversation, she's going to bring up something regarding work. And so I just learned with her, I just sometimes have to guide our conversations. And then there are days where I need a break from her after being at work with her all day. And there are days when I come home for my mental health, I may not answer her phone calls just because I just need my mental health, especially if we have a disagreement or she says something that hurts my feelings. I'm not going to disrespect her, but I just know how to just step aside and just have my moment. But really, we don't fuss and go back and forth. The only thing that she fusses at me with on a regular basis is that I spend too much money for the company on the company credit card. So I keep getting threatened that she's gonna take the credit card from me.
Got it. What are you charging on the card that got her threatening you to take away the card?
My marketing, my graphic design, printing services, Bath and Body Works candles, Bath and Body Works air fresheners. You know, saying we don't need that. You can just go to the dollar store and get that. And can't you find somebody to, you know? And the thing about my mother is, like, I laugh. I was like, she's very frugal, but she's the one that had money. Like, I'm the broke one, okay? Like, she's the one that had money because she know how to be frugal, you know? Yeah. So I get it. And she comes from a different time. Her upbringing was a lot different from mine. So I get it. So some things that I like to splurge on, she's like, that doesn't make sense. The math is not mathing. So,
Got it. So if today was the day that your mom came to you or called you and said, "Hey, baby girl, it's time for me to step down," what are the immediate changes that you think that you'll start implementing, that you want to implement, that you've been envisioning to implement into the funeral home to make it more robust, to make it more modern?
I don't think the only thing that I think I would change, and this probably sound real crazy and petty, the only thing that I would immediately change is I would use a phone service to answer our calls. My mother still have the calls after business hours going into her home phone. So she receives all of the calls. So if someone passes away at 3:00 in the morning, she's the one to receive the call instead of the answering service. And she's the one who kind of is glued to her phone. So she rushes out the office to go home to make sure she doesn't miss a call. So for me, I'm just like, let's just use the answering service and they'll like hit up our phone if they need us. They will actually call us if we are needed instead of me having to be glued to my phone and tied to my phone. That would be the only thing right now that I could see that I would change. And I know that sounds so petty, but I just see how she's just like attached to her home phone because she still has a flip phone as her cell phone. So she's attached. She's not into technology. So she's attached to her home phone. And I don't like that for me because I like to move, go. I want to be in another country and business can still go on. You know, I don't have to sit there and answer calls from another country, you know. So I know that sounds petty, but yes, that would be the one thing that I would change immediately. And I like my sleep at night.
I get that. I absolutely get that. So what is your vision if you could help it come to fruition? Like, what are you looking to do 5 years from now? What do you see happening with the funeral home? Do you feel like you're going to open up another location, a desire to open up another location, expand services that you provide? What's your vision?
My vision, because I'm so hands-on, I don't foresee myself opening up a second location. I foresee myself maybe building onto my current location for space-wise to accommodate more clientele. Like my goal right now is I just want us to continue to build up our clientele, to attract people that appreciate and see what it is that we offer and desire our services and that generally appreciate what it is that we do. Because not just for myself and my mother, but my staff, we put our all into, we put our best foot forward. We always have in mind the family. How does the family feel? What does the family think? So I just pray that God keeps those type of people around me to continue to allow my business to flourish.
Got it. Do you feel like that's your special sauce when it comes to one funeral home, another funeral home from yours, right? Because most people go to the funeral home that's probably in a close proximity to wherever the passing occurred, right? Do you feel like people are coming from a different zip code to come to you because of they've heard of the customized service that you provide? Do you feel like that gives you a little bit of a market edge?
Yes. But I feel like, and I get it, it's so much easier to deal with the funeral home that's in your locale, especially when you have to take things such as clothes back, meet with the director, go back in just to make sure everything, your loved one looks the way you want them to look. Like, I get that's a lot going between the cities, but my thing is, at least in my city, I just want to attract those people again that appreciate and see what we do.
Got it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If people wanted to get in contact with you or try to find you online, social media, because now you marketing and all, right? How do people get in contact with you?
We can be found, of course, on our website, cookovertonfuneralhome.com. We are on Facebook at TE Cook Overton Funeral Home. We are on TikTok, TE Cook Overton Funeral Home. We are on Instagram, TE Cook Overton Funeral Home. Or you can find me also under my personal Instagram, which is Funeral Service Diva. But yes, we are all over online. We can be found.
Well, Renee, I really appreciate you coming on the Forte Podcast and telling
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
We are out of here. Renee, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, sister.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. Thank you.